Redditors, have you ever gotten an ick from a potential partner or love interest that instantly killed your attraction to them? If so, what happened? First date, I was filling gas and she started going through my phone. I saw her go through it and continued to fill gas as she read my text messages. I'm a fairly open person with little to hide, but I do value trust and honesty. Soon as the pump clicked, she put it back in a hurry. I skipped the dinner plans and dropped her home. If I can't even trust you with my phone, I can't trust you with my future. #X200B, edit, what happened next? I didn't address it immediately. She didn't know I was driving towards her house until we got super close, at which point we had maybe 2 minutes left together. In a calm and am disappointed in you tone, I told her I caught her in the act and this blatant breach of privacy was a deal breaker for me. She's too old to be acting like an insecure teenager, she was 26, and that she should address this behavior before pursuing serious relationships. She knew she was in the wrong. She stayed quiet till we got back and left the car without a word. Still no apology though. Edit 2, I do have a phone password. But my car is a trusted Bluetooth spot, so it stays unlocked when connected to car for music. Making spills messes and leaving it for long periods of time without cleaning it up. Like months. My sister's husband will leave dog pee on the floor for days or just pour bleach on it and then wonder why he starts coughing when he literally just made mustard gas. Has anyone told him not to mix ammonia and bleach? Why does he keep doing it? Let alone leaving it for days, that's horrific. He's been told several times. He just doesn't think that dog pee is enough ammonia to be a health hazard. She was best friends with another girl who she constantly spoke shit about when said friend wasn't around. Funk house. Stepped into a smell that, I can't describe it. George Clinton would complain about it. Then, as I was sitting on the couch, noticed gnats everywhere. Looked over at a window and there were thousands living and dead in the sill. Tried to throw away a soda bottle, hundreds more swarmed up from the pile of dirty dishes in the sink. That was enough for me. I've always been a bit messy. Like, I'll leave clothes on the floor or a chair when I'm too lazy, but when it gets to the point of food, drink sitting around, filth building to the point of bugs showing up, I'm just amazed people can live comfortably like that. Anything that spoils or rots should be cleaned up in a decent time frame. Edit, as people have pointed out, I incorrectly labeled that type of living as comfortable when it's oftentimes caused by stuff like trauma, mental illness. This possibility totally slipped my mind and I didn't consider it, but it makes sense because I know these mental hurdles are often harder to get over than most think. Appreciate the replies, much love to those struggling with anything that causes these issues. Most of the time the people like that are severely depressed or on drugs, both of which make a person not really give a duck about their house. I don't know though, because I've been both at different points in my life, but I never allowed my living space to get dirty, so maybe it just comes down to the individual. Every dirty house I've walked into was either a trap house or owned by a guy that actively wants to kill himself. Dated a guy who seemed chill but kept talking about social media and how people exes were scheming against him. I believed him at first until it got to a point where he thought things like a photo someone put up was an indicator that they were getting him back, when these people were literally just doing normal things and posting normal stuff. I think he was schizophrenic, but it was really unsettling. Months later he rang me out of the blue to ask me about a link between his ex, myself and a friend. The link was butterflies, and because of this link he thought we were conspiring against him. It's funny because I took a psych evaluation recently and there were all these questions like, I believe people are conspiring against me, true, false, and now I get what those were about. People are trying to control my thoughts? Have you seen marketing these days? They started calling themselves poor before humble, bragging about making $200,000 a year and owning 2 houses that their parents bought for them. Maybe they meant poor in character. They invited me over for dinner, and to clean the table they just slung the food off the plates across the kitchen floor for the pack of dogs they had to fight over. Possibly the most unhinged crack house behavior I've seen in this thread. She asked for my chapstick and then put it on her dog. I don't know, that's kinda hilarious. Yeah, this is a Seinfeld episode. I went on a date with a seemingly nice guy in my early 20s. It went well, so after dinner, we cuddled in the back seat of his car in a quiet country area listening to music. He gently played with my hand and fingers and gave me a lil massage, so relaxing. When he got to my wrist he looked at it, flipped it around a few times, and says in a lustful voice, "It would be so easy for me to break this little thing right now." Edit, I said this in response to someone below, For you guys asking about what happened after, it was maybe 2007. I don't remember in detail what happened next. I kind of just played it off like you're so strong until he took me home. Kind of tried to de-escalate, so didn't acknowledge that statement too much. Just kept the conversation moving to something else and was careful to not embarrass or upset him. I didn't keep seeing him. I was busy for the next dates he asked me on, and then acted as boring as possible until he lost interest in me eventually. We went to college together and were in ROTC together, so avoiding was kinda hard. He started a relationship with someone else pretty quickly after that. Holy shit, 0 to 100. From never broke a bone to banned. First date with a guy who mentioned hooking up that night while I was talking about something else, and I continued speaking to finish my sentence. He immediately asked if I was ignoring him. Because I didn't stop speaking to acknowledge his inquiry for sex? Did you hear me? Yes. I was giving you the opportunity to backtrack from being a moron, but I see you're unfortunately incapable. She would make up her own names for food at restaurants and try to order them. No, it wasn't part of some joke. Example, when ordering Cinnabon Delights from Taco Bell, she would say I want bonbons. Duck edit, my problem isn't with people having nicknames for food, my issue is making people who are taking your order decipher what you're trying to say. As a joke, I would understand if you were a regular and the people taking your order know you, or if it's an inside joke. But what the actual duck? I got sloppy drunk on my 21st birthday and wanted bacon and cheddar potato wedges from Jack in the Box and couldn't get the words right, calling them check-in betters. Right up until they discontinued them, my entire friend group continued calling them check-in betters. She'd never changed her bed sheets in the year she'd been at her apartment, and the previously gray carpet had heavy brown track marks. Okay, I just have to throw out there for the kids like me raised by depressed, alcoholic, and incompetent parents. I honestly did not know how to operate a washing machine till I was 22. When I met my now husband. The floor in the house I was raised in was mopped swept vacuumed maybe 8 times in nearly 11 years. And the futon mattress I slept on had a literal rodent infestation. This man and his manic, but sweet mother taught me how to clean, do laundry, maintain a household, and a bunch of other shit I just genuinely was not aware of needing to be done. Sometimes the adults in someone's life neglected them to a point where they are completely uneducated on basic hygiene. Help them learn. Now if they refuse to improve, bail lol immediately. My nephew's birth, and my mother's sobriety is the only reason my childhood home looks better now. Had a friend like you. It broke my heart to see how afraid they were to be judged, literally refusing to let me come to their house to not see their mess, being afraid they would disgust me. No one told them how to clean their house, they were disabled and couldn't reach most of the dirty. Their isolation kept them away from the rest. I kept all my frustration, and helped them to do it. Changed their life for the best. Sometimes, all you need is a little help. Maybe not instantly killed, but a really lovely woman telling me in a sincere voice that she loved me, 3 to 4 hours after meeting her, freaked me the duck out in a way that I guess could reasonably be described as the ick. In no way was the statement couched either, just straight up I love you. Think I responded, no, you don't. You've been Ted Mosby'd frown. Classic Schmosby. Went on a date with a guy I met at a party. He made me prove that I liked Lord of the Rings by answering who said what when he quoted someone. He pulled out a notebook of really poorly drawn anime characters and asked me if he could draw me. He was a lot shorter than me and asked if it bothered me. I said no, then he said good, I like Amazonian goddesses. He kept trying to put his jewelry onto me despite my protests. He asked what I wanted to order for food, then ignored me and ordered me something else and got frustrated I didn't eat it all. He referenced being arrested, made me guess what for, and when I refused to guess for not knowing him well enough he said GBH. He was a trainee doctor and asked if I'd ever broken any bones. When I replied yes, he said that he was going to look up my x-rays. And the icing on the cake. When I wanted to leave he got my knee-high boots, slipped them onto my feet and zipped them up and said you should always be treated like a goddess. My Morticia Adams. All one date. Well, this got weirder and weirder. And to top it all off, when I did get to his, he said, do you want some slides to wear? I replied no thanks and he went no, you'll need them, and the fear in my stomach arose like, what, why am I going to need them? His intonation was strong on the word need. Well, I sure found out when I stepped into the bathroom to call my friend to get them to come rescue me. I walked in, a dank smell permeated the air. I soon realized it was from the peachy pink bath mat on the floor. This bath mat was once meant to be cream, It squelched underfoot as I flushed the toilet, causing water and stink to flood out everywhere. You went to a second location with this guy? You are brave.